The Ming Dynasty launched a series of ambitious naval expeditions between 1405 and 1433, led by famous Admiral Zheng He. These voyages reached as far as East Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, and Southeast Asia, showcasing China's naval capabilities and expanding its influence across the Indian Ocean. China's big limitation was their commitment to centralization, which would have made the entrepreneurial nature of establishing colonies hard to justify. At most, China may have established some ports on the far side of the Indian Ocean, meeting European traders halfway and giving them less incentive to venture further in search of the spice trade. However, there's one obvious way in which colonization would line up with China's strict centralized legalism perfectly: convict colonies. Imagine if an explorer was commissioned to explore as far south as possible. Eventually he'd discover Australia, and in sailing around it, he'd realize it was massive and very sparsely inhabited. If news of this vast continent reached the emperors of China, they may consider this a perfect location to send political dissidents and other unwanted individuals in order to maintain order. As such, China would not have to radically change the nature of their society and values, but just send a small contingent of men to Australia to oversee this convict colony. China's large population means there'd be plenty of people to colonize Australia, while their iron-fisted legal system would mean plenty of social and political willingness to send them. If China happened to discover the potential resources to be exploited, then this would increase the willingness to send labourers to this new colony. Eventually, all of Australia's arable land would be committed to sustaining a growing population, and this new territory would become an ever more integrated part of the Ming Dynasty. Of course, back in Asia, the Ming would face existential threats, and the European Age of Exploration would guarantee an eventual encounter with European explorers. There's also the question of whether all this might motivate China to send more of their own explorers, perhaps out east. Check the comments if you're interested in part 2 of this alternative history series.